Good morning, everybody. So today I was doing a little bit of yard work and I found this axe head. It's just sitting out in my yard. It's pretty rusty. It's got a lot of like parts of metal flaking off and a lot of dirt, but I figured it's still pretty solid and it doesn't really have any reason why I can't go ahead and put a new handle on it. So I was going to do that, and I was going to show you guys my process for getting these things cleaned up. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is regular dish soap. Got me a little pool of water right here. We're going to make a little wash bath for it. We want to get all of the oil and as much of the dirt off as possible for the next process. The oil is important because that'll slow down the chemical process for the next thing that we do. So I'll let it sit in here. Wash the dirt off, and I'm going to let it sit for a minute or two so that dish soap can go ahead and break the oil off. You know, any residual I guess like WD-40 or anything like that, I'm going to take that off, plus whatever process they have in the manufacturing, or any oil that they come in the manufacturing process, plus whatever it picked up out of the yard. So I'm going to go ahead and clean that shit off. Leave that sitting here for a minute, and then we'll get to the next step of the process. Alright, so that's what we're looking for. All that oil's come off. You can kind of see the film up on top of the water. We're going to go ahead and start on the cathode and the anode. I'm going to be making those out of coat hangers today. Sorry for the mess. You guys have to excuse all of my tools. I'm just going to cut these coat hangers and attach them up. I got to use both hands for this process, so I'm just going to go ahead and restart the video as soon as I'm done. And here they are. I just went ahead and cut them right here and stretched them out. We're just going to be using these as wires to connect into our battery charger. So I guess it's important for me to mention now, this process is only going to work for metal coat hangers. In case you're not really aware of what's going on, we're going to be cleaning rust off with electricity today. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up and grab a couple of other pieces, and we'll go ahead and get started with the electrolysis process. Yeah, these look rusty. We'll take this. Went ahead and changed out the water as you guys saw, and I got this piece of steel right here. This is going to be our sacrifice piece of metal. This is going to be what the rust is going to it's going to attach from the axe head to this piece of metal. So it's kind of junk. It's been sitting out in the rain for years. It's definitely not the right size anymore because of the rust. So it doesn't really have any other function. So we're just going to go ahead and use this piece. One last thing we got to do to set up the water bath, and we got to add a little bit of salt. That's just regular table salt, and a little bit of baking soda. And these will help ionize the water and allow the electricity to transfer through the water with much less resistance. And basically it will speed up the whole process. So we're going to add those, and I'm going to string up the coat hangers. I'm again going to need both hands for those. But before we get the process started, I'll show everything and go ahead and explain it one last time. Alright, so there's the setup. I have the axe head fully suspended in the water, so it's not touching the sides or bottom. The water completely covers it. And then I also have the sacrifice piece of metal that's doing the same. And that's important because we don't want to create electrical resistance. We want the differential to be between these two pieces of metal and not the plastic, not the coat hangers, and not the water. So in order to prevent that and reduce the amount of resistance, it's very important to keep the objects that you are using for this process completely suspended in the water. I ahead and grabbed and plugged in my DC battery charger. This is typically used for charging car batteries or whatnot. So what you guys would expect, it's got the positive and negative attachments right there. This is very important. The piece that we're going to be cleaning, we're going to attach the negative to, and the piece that is quote-unquote the sacrificial piece of metal, that's going to get the positive. So it's important to keep those that clear, because otherwise you're going to remove rust from the wrong thing. Gentlemen, I went ahead and attached it up, and to check if the process is working, you will see these bubbles. They're going to be coming off of the I believe that's the cathode. It might be the anode. My electrical engineering knowledge has kind of gone by the wayside in the last 10 years. But this is ensuring that the process is working. And what that actually is elemental oxygen and elemental hydrogen being thrown off of these pieces. So this is showing that the process is working. It's going to take a little while for the rust layer to get eaten through, and then the whole axe head should go ahead and light up. So I'm going to leave this running for a little while, and we'll come back to it in 20-30 minutes to see how it's going. Hey, so I've been running this for about 10 to 15 minutes now. As you can see, the water's already starting to turn that nice orange rust color. It's particularly cloudy over there by where the positive sacrificial piece of metal is, which is just ensuring that the process is working. Over time, all of these metal particles will move over there. So yeah, it's working. I'm just gonna let it keep running, and I'll show you the results in a few hours. Look at that! Look at all that rust that's come off. You can kind of see it's coalescing up there at the top. I'm gonna go ahead and do a real quick process where I'm gonna disconnect the power real fast. I'll shock the shit out of myself. And I'm just gonna go ahead and wipe down whatever excess rust is on the outside. Maybe use a brush to kind of scrub it off, because this is a process of dissolution. So we're basically dissolving the rust. So any rust that I can mechanically remove will just kind of help speed up the process. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick, and then I'll show you guys after I'm all set back up. And you guys can already kind of see these little pock marks right here. All these, like all of this texture. This is the areas that the rust has been eaten away, but it's left the good metal underneath. So it's working. We can already see there's rust right there on my fingers. I'm gonna scrub it off with this piece of sandpaper real quick, just to kind of scrape off any extra crap and save that time where it might be just, you know, dissolving away on its own. Well, you look at that. Look at all that rust. So yeah, we're getting there. You can kind of see the black metal underneath. It's looking real nice. I'm gonna scrape this up. I'm gonna wash it really, really good, and then I'm gonna put it back into the electrolysis. Give it another hour or so. It's much better. So you can already start seeing a little bit of the silver metal. I guess gray maybe is a better way to put it, of the iron showing up underneath. This is still all iron oxide right here, but it is reflective, which means that the metal from underneath is shining right through. And I'm gonna go ahead and just clean this up real good, dry it off, and we're gonna go ahead and get it back into the bath. Let's see what the next step of the process does. Get more of that rust off, make it nice and shiny. There's a lot more shiny metal that's showing up on top right now. So I haven't scraped that or messed with it at all. So it's really starting to shine through. I've got to make it to the hardware store so I can go ahead and pick up another handle for this. I figure that's probably the easiest way to go ahead and get this project done. I could, of course, make one on the sander, but, you know, wood's cheap, and I really just feel like that'd be the easiest method. So I'm going to head down to the hardware store and pick up a new handle and some wedges, and I'll come back and show you the rest of the axe, and we'll have it finished pretty shortly. This handle, I actually just went and picked it up from the hardware store. It's 100% hickory, and also made in the US, so that's what made me pick it up. But we got our wedges here. Still have this in the bath. I still think it's going to need a little bit longer, but I'm going to go ahead and size this up a little bit just to make sure it's going to fit on, and then we'll go ahead and get the axe head put together. Alright, and I honestly thought that this thing was going to take a little bit more sizing than it did, but it actually slipped right on there. So it's looking like I just got to tap it down just a little bit, and we'll start going and putting the wedges in. I'll show you guys how to do that. I am pretty happy with the color of this axe. Got a couple of divots, a couple of spots where, you know, that rust is just gone, that metal is just gone, but that'll be okay. It's not going to hurt the functionality of the axe any, and when I do sharpen the blade, go ahead and polish up the blade, it'll look nice and pretty. So very happy with this. It's nice, smooth metal again. Not worried about anything chipping off or hitting me in the face. So I'm going to go ahead and get the wedges in next, and I'm going to set up so you guys can actually watch me do that. Alright, there she is. Let me go ahead and grab my wedge real quick. And again, sorry if you guys see the mess. So a pretty easy process. We're going to have to make sure that this is going to fit. It looks like it's just a little bit too wide for this axe. You see that right there? So I'm going to grab, I guess I'll grab this razor right here. Sorry, I'm doing all this one-handed. I'm not used to doing it one-handed. And I'm going to mark it right there. So I'm going to take this to the chop saw real quick and go ahead and cut this down to size. Alright, so this is sized up appropriately so that it's flush with both sides. I have my hammer right here. And I'm just being very gentle. Don't have to force it in. Just tap that wedge down. And I'll go ahead and show you guys when I'm done so you don't have to listen to me beat on this. And that is one firmly attached axe head. I'm going to go ahead and take this saw right here and just kind of cut this little bit off right here. You can leave it if you want to. I kind of prefer to have it just flush, or maybe like a 1/16 of an inch over the top. I just think it looks a little bit better. So we're going to go ahead and take that off real quick. Probably should have put this part of the video, but I guess I forgot. I put a metal wedge right in here. It comes with the axe handle when you buy it. But basically I just ran that diagonally across so that it covers the 3 pieces of wood and tapped it in with a hammer. So that's just a piece of metal. It's going to keep the wood from it's going to expand the wood and keep this this handle nice and secure. Now, I've already went out and swung this thing a few times. It works very well. It cuts very nicely. That edge right there is still pretty dull, but I broke my whetstone and I want to sharpen it by hand, so probably go ahead and pick that up tomorrow. But I consider the axe done. You know, obviously you gotta take proper care of your axes and sharpen them all the time. So I'm gonna go ahead and call that project done. But it's been a lot of fun. Thank you guys. If you guys have been checking out the video, thank you very much. If you have any questions, just let me know. And I hope you guys have a good one. Take care and bye-bye.